Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now, a big reason why I started this channel was to help you save time and money on your vacation. And I think I've partnered with a service today that can do both of those. Now, every time I set off on another cruise vacation, I'm always thinking about how can I stay connected to home for the cheapest amount of money possible. Back when I began cruising, internet packages were nearly non-existent. They were priced per megabyte, they were super expensive and super slow. Now, all of that has changed with the advent of Starlink and a lot of Wi-Fi packages that the cruise lines offer that are at least usable, but still sometimes quite expensive. You've probably done this before a cruise. You've checked the pricing for the cruise ship's Wi-Fi plan, you've checked your cell phone carrier's international plan, and you're thinking, boy, I don't know if I really want to stay connected to home for that price. Now, I cruise a lot, and a lot of times I'm stopping over in the Bahamas, maybe over at Nassau, one of the most popular ports out there, or even some of the private islands that some of the cruise lines operate. And typically there is cell phone coverage there, but I'm at the mercy of my cell phone carrier with what they charge per day. Back when I had Verizon, it was about $15 a day. And once we leave port, I either have to stay connected through a purchased Wi-Fi plan, or if I want to use my existing cell phone plan, it's going to be very expensive through the cellular network on the ship. But recently, I found a service that's changed a lot of my thinking around staying connected while at sea. It's called GigSky, and I had a chance to try it on my last cruise. I do want to thank GigSky for partnering with me on this video, but just know that all the thoughts are my own within this video. Now, a good tip for avoiding some very serious cell phone bill charges is to put your phone into airplane mode as soon as the ship sails away from port. That'll avoid any sort of surprise charges on the bill. It'll avoid any sort of stress on your vacation. A lot of people just turn their cell phones completely off, but we all know that that's not entirely possible, especially because the cruise ships are so reliant on their onboard app for finding out what activities are going on or making bookings on board or for all those excursions, just seeing where you should go next on your vacation. It's really important to have your cell phone on. And then, of course, if you want to stay connected to home, you have the Wi-Fi plans that typically cost around $20 to $25 a day. Recently on a Disney cruise, to have any sort of usable plan, it was over $40 a day. So that can add up quite quickly, especially if you're on an itinerary that's stopping at multiple islands throughout the maybe week-long voyage. Every time that you step on shore, you're going to be incurring a new destination charge with your cell phone provider, and that's, typically $15 or maybe even more. And honestly, that is kind of what I did for a while. I would typically buy the Wi-Fi plan on board. I'd be able to send emails, and now that Starlink is up, it's been a lot faster to be able to even create videos and upload them while at sea. But I was basically not connecting when I was on shore for the day. I wasn't able to use Google Maps to find my way around port if I wasn't on an excursion. And so the convenience factor was definitely not there for the Wi-Fi package only vacation that I was having. So GigSky sells packages that are based on the amount of data that you think that you'll need on your vacation, and it's going to be available for a set period of time. For my package that I chose a 5 gigabyte plan that would last me up to 30 days. This would run you about $72, which for a 3 to 4 night cruise, that's typically what you're going to be paying for a Wi-Fi package on board. And the cool thing is, since I cruise so much, I could actually stretch this data plan across multiple cruises because it's really just based on the amount of data that I'm using as well as the time for the plan that I selected. So for 30 days, I'm taking several different cruises. I can use the same data plan across those multiple cruise ships. While I'm in port in the Bahamas, the plan will work perfectly, but it works in all sorts of different destinations, including Cuba, which is pretty cool. And most importantly, it works in the middle of the ocean on a sea day. I had an inside cabin on my most recent cruise on Ovation of the Seas, and I was incredibly surprised to find out that the service worked inside my cabin on deck 11. I was testing out the service. I wanted to see what the speed was like. I even streamed one of my own videos using their service, and it worked flawlessly. Now, that does use a lot of data, and that is one drawback of this plan, is that if you're someone who likes to stream a lot of video while on vacation, maybe you got Netflix, Disney Plus, or something like that, this may not be the plan for you because that is something that eats up a lot of data. And so how GigSky works in practice is you assign an eSIM to your cellular device. Now, you already have one through your existing cellular plan, but you have the ability to add another one and then switch in between them. So when you want to use GigSky's data plan, you just turn off your existing services data and you turn on GigSky. It works really seamlessly, and the service has lots of how-tos on how to help you get this set up. I set it up basically a day before my cruise, and it worked flawlessly on land, just in a simple test that I wanted to do. So I knew I was ready to go once I got on board. Now, here is one catch as well, is that your phone does need to be unlocked to be able to use this technology. So if you're paying off your device month by month, you're not going to be able to unlock your device in order to add a new eSIM plan. So that's one caveat. And then your cell phone itself has to be able to accept an eSIM. And only the cell phones in the last 5 or 6 years are able to do this. If you have an older iPhone or Android device, you're likely not going to be able to use GigSky. Now, another big caveat here is this is a data-only plan. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to receive phone calls, at least in the traditional way, or SMS texts. And this is a big deal for people that maybe are using two-factor authentication for accessing banking or any sort of other secure service online, and you need that SMS code. So you're not going to be able to receive those, but you could set up an authenticator app before your trip for all of those services, and then that would work over GigSky. And if you do need to make a phone call while at sea, you are going to have to use something like WhatsApp or FaceTime audio, FaceTime itself, and texting via iMessage works flawlessly with GigSky as well. But just want to put that out there that it's not a perfect solution for staying connected at sea. If you do want to have traditional cell phone calls, you can still use the cellular at sea service itself. It just might be a little pricey, and check with your cell phone carrier if there's maybe a product out there that they sell that allows you to stay connected during your cruise. It's going to be a lot more expensive than GigSky though. So how much data do you need? That's really going to depend person to person. I took a look at my cell phone bill before my cruise and saw how much data I use, and it's a lot. So I knew I had to adjust a few things. A big thing that I did was go through all the settings on my phone and turn off data usage for apps that I knew I wouldn't use, and make sure that they weren't chewing up a lot of my data in the background. I recommend everyone do that as well. So maybe turning on your web browser as well as your mail app or something like that, those are the essential items, Google Maps even, things that you're going to use in port, just to make sure that you're not going to chew up all that data. And you can always turn on certain apps that maybe you forgot later on. Definitely better to do that later than to have forgotten about something that's just eating up gigabytes of data in the background and costing you money. As I said earlier in the video, if you're someone who's going to be doing a lot of video streaming or maybe connecting via Zoom, this may not be the plan for you because all those services do chew up a lot of data. So just take a look at how you're going to spend your vacation, or maybe a working vacation if you're trying to stay connected to the office while you're at sea, and see if maybe GigSky is the best solution for you, or maybe the cruise ship Wi-Fi is maybe the better route to go. Now, I have partnered with GigSky to offer my viewers 10% off plans that they may purchase through GigSky. You can use the code CRUISE10 or click the link down below to take advantage. So some extra use cases here. Multi-device travelers, you can tether this plan over to your laptop, so that works perfectly. For short itineraries, this is probably going to be a great solution to purchase maybe a smaller GigSky plan over a smaller amount of time. It's going to save you a little bit of money. Or if you're doing multiple short cruises or even long cruises through maybe a month-long period, you can use the same plan throughout multiple cruises, which is a great deal. What I like about it is being able to contact excursion companies via WhatsApp just to confirm that everything was all set. So for my final thoughts on GigSky as a service, I feel like GigSky has filled a gap in my connectivity needs. I really love having a plan that works both on board and on shore, and pretty much works seamlessly once I step off the ship and then back on. I don't have to worry about being overcharged. Once the plan runs out, I just have to top it off. So that's a nice thing too. There's no overage charges or anything like that. So if you're like me and you're someone who cruises a whole bunch, or if you're on your first cruise and you just want to stay connected back home to friends and family or even the office, I think GigSky is worth checking out. Again, use code CRUISE10 to save 10% off your first GigSky plan. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.